A life lived in fear is a life half lived. Ultimately, you have to pursue your own path, not someone's idea of the right path. You need to stay on your path. The ugly duckling is a misunderstood universal myth. It's not about turning into a blonde Barbie doll or becoming what you dream of being. It's about self-revelation, becoming who you are. I always have a point of view. It may not be right, but it's my own. Sydney is rather like an arrogant lover. When it rains, it can deny you its love, and you can find it hard to relate to. It's not a place that's built to be rainy or cold. But when the sun comes out, it bats its eyelids. It's glamorous, beautiful, attractive, smart, and it's very hard to get away from its magnetic pull. When you're in theater or the circus or film, to me, it's all one. Affairs happen. People fall in love. If Paris is a city of lights, Sydney is the city of fireworks. Australia, to the rest of the world, is just far away, and Australia in the 30s was the far away of the far away. One of the great things about Sydney is that it has a great acceptance of everyone and everything. It's an incredibly tolerant city, a city with a huge multicultural basis. The food in Sydney is an Asian Pacific cuisine. It's eclectic, but above all, it's fresh, inventive, and creative, and that's what I love about it. I mean, the future has become old-fashioned. Opera was the cinema of its time, so to bring back that popular appeal, you just need to unleash its visceral immediacy and excitement. Most productions don't manage that, but when an opera does do it, you never forget it. I never see things I make in the same way that the audience does. You can never do that. There's a whole system in Hollywood where the director never speaks to the studio, but I like to engage them in a discussion. I listen. I've always loved the old epics that tell a simple emotional story, whether it's the tumultuous relationship between Red and Scarlet or Lawrence of Arabia's passion to get lost in a faraway place. Sydney in general is eclectic. You can be on that brilliant blue ocean walk in the morning, and then within 20 minutes you can be in a completely vast suburban sprawl or an Italian or Asian suburb. And it's that mix of people, it's that melting pot of people that give it its vital personality. If you wanted to show a mirror to people that says, "You've been drunk on money," they're not going to want to see it. But if you reflected that mirror on another time, they'd be willing to. People will need an explanation of where we are and where we've been, and The Great Gatsby can provide that explanation. I think dance in any culture, in any form, is a true leveler. The party is a true art form in Sydney, and people practice it a great deal. You can really get quite lost in it. I've tried to make strictly ballroom impossible to date. It does feel a bit 80s, but I consciously made sure there was no technology in the movie that could date it. I feel like a member of any group comprised of outsiders. I feel a kinship with anyone who feels that their road, their life, or who they really are is not good enough. I really relate to that. At a very young age, I was allowed to go into the cinema and watch adult films. In terms of the mechanics of story, myth is an intriguing one because we didn't make myth up. Myth is an imprinter of the human condition. I often think to myself, at the end of an interesting life, it's maybe not such a bad thing to spend your last days with your friends sitting by the blue ocean, reliving the story of your life while sitting in the dangerous sun. I do find walking is fundamental to my creative process. All good, clean stories are melodrama. It's just the set of devices that determines how you show or hide it. I wouldn't take a directing job if I didn't think it was enriching life. Western films don't do very well in India. My father made sure that I had lots of levels of education, from ballroom dancing to painting, commando training, theater, and magic. I feel funny about owning art. I don't really want to say, wow, come and see my Monet, it's in a dark room at the bottom of my cellar. Look, I had a passion for comic books growing up. I really believe musical form will go on. There's got to be a way of making musical form in cinema live again. Everything I make starts very personally. Historically, epics are set in Africa or Asia or the Wild West. But if you make an epic today, it's hard to disassociate from the contemporary realities of those places. I am always worried when someone says, "This is perfect." Fitzgerald was a modernist. I grew up around jazz. I love jazz. In the 60s, not everybody was wearing flowers in their hair and flowing kaftans. Fitzgerald coined the phrase the jazz age, and now we're living in the hip-hop age. One of my great all-time loves in cinema, and I've seen it 3 times, is Bondarchuk's War and Peace. Not a lot of people may have seen that film. It was made during the Soviet era. I mean, 8, to me, is such a great dissertation on the whole, active filmmaking and creativity. In the 80s, everyone wanted to be in opera. It was groovy. When I was growing up, you would see big American films that really mythologized their landscape, that really showed the vastness and the drama of their country. You really think that on my films people tell me what to do? I don't think so. On my films I decide. I don't have fights with actors. In absolute honesty, I've never fought with any actor ever. I understand that anything actors are doing, good or bad, is motivated by fear. Some of the greatest relationship films of all time. The two stars have hated each other, but mostly you see that chemistry. I love dancing.